I like when I pass that every time I look at this, I can tell now.
So I think
After 6 years, I think I would go.
I think we're good.
yeah,
I was gonna say, it seems like, yeah, 6:01.
okay, we'd like to welcome everyone to our South Weaver City Council meeting this evening at 6 p.m. And today is Tuesday, August the 22nd, 2023. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance from Councilwoman Alberts, and then we'll have a prayer by Councilman Halverson.
Sound for the pledge. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Heavenly Father, as we come before thee this evening, we're so very grateful that we can gather here as members of our community and for the opportunities we have to express our freedoms and to join together and discuss the needs of our community. Father, we're thankful for the moisture which we've received, and we bless that it may continue and that we may use it wisely. Bless those who are in the paths of the storms, that they'll be safe and protected. Father, we're ask for thy spirit to be with us, that we might be able to discuss the needs and to do so in a good manner, that we may understand the proper uses of our funds and of our lands and those things within our community. Again, we thank thee for all that we have, and we say things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Haley and Blair. Appreciate that. We'll begin with our public comments. Be respectful in your comments. We'd ask you to come up to the podium, state your name and city, and direct your comments to the entire council.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Lucas Mann, and my family and we live on the south side of the Canyon Meadows Park. And I'm just here to complain about a neighbor. We have a neighbor that their yard is always overgrown, and there's lots of stickers and weeds and bugs, and they maybe weed whack it like once a year. And the neighbor is the city. There's land that runs through our block that me and 3 other neighbors kind of share, and it's just a nuisance. And our other neighbors couldn't be here, but we all feel that something needs to be done to improve it. We love South Weaver. We feel like we live in a beautiful city, and there's just kind of this eyesore. And I think the city had plans to maybe use it, but it doesn't border the park, so it's not going to be a good spot for a path or anything like that. Our request is that something be done to improve it, and the neighbors would prefer that maybe the city divest itself of the land and give it to us, and we can move our yards over, or at least something to improve it, because it's an eyesore. It puts stickers in the kids' bike tires. So that's my public comment. I think that's on the agenda to talk about tonight.
Item number 14.
Yep. So just wanted you guys to hear our opinions. Again, I represent the 4 neighbors that share that strip of land that's on across the street south of the park.
Okay.
But
Thank
thanks
you.
for hearing my comment.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments. Any other public comments? Seeing none, then we'll move along with our action items for tonight. First, we'll have our consent agenda, which consists of our July 11th and July 25th minutes and our July checks. Are there any discussions or changes to any of these items?
Mayor, I had a comment. As I pull up my notes, it's on page page 27 of the packet. It's a series of charges totaling $2,750 to cover the 2023 F-350 seats. So my question is, do we know why we did that?
I can look into that. I can look into that charge specifically for you.
Okay, like I said, there's probably 6 or 7 of them. to specifically an upholster, and I don't know why a brand new vehicle needs that, so I hate to approve that amount. It says to cover 2023 F-350 seats, but it's brand new.
I want to say it was for the new trucks to cover them, so when they're getting in and out dirty, it doesn't ruin the seats. And then they take them off when we go to turn back the vehicles or sell the vehicle.
Yeah, that's not reupholster. That's to put a cover over the existing upholstery.
And it's just an upholstered seat, not a leather vinyl seat, just cloth.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Actually, I do have a couple of questions on that as well. So we've got a bill for Max not here, right?
No,
We've got a bill for 51,000 from Johnson Associates. I just want to know, is that for services done in July, or is that for a whole quarter?
those are. Well, I'd have to look at the bill specifically and how far back that goes, but it's typically 1 month of billing for the various projects and things.
What
Yeah.
page are you on?
I'm trying to bring it up right now. I've got it in my notes. If you scroll down to where it's all.
It's the,
Page 19, 20.
those are just for the 1 month. Yeah, page 19 of the packet. For all of the various items that he was involved in, whether those were street maintenance projects or water projects that Jones and Associates oversees. That's all of the different line items that those would hit. And so it's not all one line item that's in, but those are all the various engineering related items.
Just a question on that. On some of those that are for development, is that going to be taken from the developer's costs?
Anything that is development related will be reimbursed through development, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then down slowly. Going a little bit further, it talks about the lease program. We've got a 12-month lease of a 2022 Ram 200 or 2,500 tradesmen. It just caught my eye because it's for 8,000.
Who is that to, Joel, did you say?
Page 25.
Yeah, page 25.
Yeah, page 25, it's the Bancorp Bank. We've got one for 28,000, but the whole total from all of them is 75, but I was specifically around 2,500 tradesmen. I don't even know what that is, for the 12-month weeks on it. Does it look-
I'm pretty sure that is a fire vehicle, but I'd have to look specifically.
Okay,
I believe the fire vehicles are the Rams.
okay.
That's the two, right?
I think you're right. I think that is the other,
That the two brush
Mhm. I think,
Or are those the paramedic
but
vehicles?
for some reason I thought that was a 3,500.
But so just, can I follow up on that? That's for the full 12 months, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
they're just so much higher than the other ones around it. But they're 4,250. That's it. So,
It's 116.
Mayor, I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
all right.
Hi,
Okay, thank you. These next four items, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all pertain to surplus property that we'll be talking about. First item on that is ordinance 2023-11, Title 10, Land Use Matrix and Definition Amendment. Any questions on this discussion? If none, we'll ask for a motion.
I do have a question.
Okay,
Trying to give everybody else. So in this one, it says that, seldom renal activities are partly addressed within some districts. So these are not just changing the definition. We're actually adding them or taking them out of different zones.
Yes, it's adding the use to the recreational, commercial recreation zone.
And you'll be adding to commercial recreation, commercial highway, and the industrial zones as well.
Well, my first question. Did that go through the PC?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I just didn't see anything on here that said the PC had given their approval or recommendations.
Under the recommendations in the staff report,
It
it
does
talks
say
about
that.
the planning commission recommends approval.
For the ordinance, she has said, for the change of zoning. And.
It's not a rezone, it's just a zoning text amendment.
Thank you.
okay,
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 2023-11 Title 10 Land Use Matrix and Definitions Amendment.
Second,
okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll begin with roll call vote from Councilman Halverson.
aye.
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 Okay, the next item, thank you. The next item then is the public hearing. We need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have public hearing is open for anyone that would like to discuss anything pertaining to this surplus property. Seeing none, then we'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next.
Can I ask a question on that public hearing? I didn't see a notice out front.
It was noticed. The public hearing was noticed.
Is it? Is it with all the construction and everything? See it.
Okay, next item then, resolution 23-35 declaring city property surplus. We want to give any information on this, Dave, or is everybody good with that, or? I think we're,
I'll answer any
Oh,
questions if you've got them.
yeah, anybody have any questions for Dave on that? If none, then we'll ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-35 declaring city property surplus.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll begin with the roll call vote by Councilman Deals.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Next item, offer to purchase real estate. Any,
My only question on this one was on page 38. It says offer to purchase expires in 10 days. And on page 42, it's dated July 19th. Do we need to have any clarification, or will that be changed in the documents, or do we need to notate that somewhere?
That's just kind of a standard date that's put in those contracts. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is not enforceable or actionable, I should say. Maybe you can speak to that if you'd like, Kevin, about but
We'll honor the purchase agreement. We could do a new one if you'd prefer, but.
I just wanted to clarify and make sure we were still okay.
It's a good, it's valid.
Okay. Thank you.
okay,
Amy? Just a quick question on this. Obviously, you've reviewed this contract. Is there anything specific that we should know or pay attention to that's kind of out of the ordinary?
No, the boilerplate and the terms and conditions in the agreement are fairly standard. It's a standard offer. We have had negotiations with the seller about some of the terms and how they're defined, you know, for example, on the acreage and on some of the other bigger points, but Other than that, like, it's a fairly straightforward purchase agreement.
Okay, thank you. Trevor, kind of the same question. Since we were working, anything on inside of this, on thing requirements or anything that we should know about?
There's nothing as it pertains to the purchase of the property that has to go through building yet in order to begin grubbing the site. It obviously needs to go through the site plan approval process and everything. And so once they submitted that application, we'll process that application.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussions, questions?
It looks like everything is how we had discussed last time about the 50% on the improvements and everything like that. So I didn't miss anything as far as that
Yep.
goes.
That'll stay the
Okay.
same.
Yeah, no
Perfect.
amendments from the last view.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I move to accept the offer to purchase the north 5.33 acres of parcel 13-358-0002.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. We'll begin with a roll call vote. Councilman Halverson.
Aye.
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 Hi,
Aye.
Okay. Next item, ordinance 23-12, title 10, chapter 3, section 3, term amendment. We have been in discussion with the new contract for our city manager. And our new contract, we would like to extend it from a 3-year to a 5-year is what this amendment's about. Any discussion on this?
No, I think it's a good change.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 2023-12, title 10, chapter 3, section 3, term amendment.
Seconded.
A motion and a second. We'll begin with a roll call vote. Councilman Dills.
Aye.
Hi,
Aye.
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 Okay, we're moving on. You guys
Doing okay
getting all
over there?
that down?
That's just the term.
He may leave in a minute.
Okay, then our next item, resolution 23-36, which is city manager employment contract. We have been working together with our city manager and with our attorney and with the city council, and we've come up with a new contract for our city manager, and we appreciate him very much. He's done a lot for the city, and we would like him to stay here for us a long time. So in putting this together, we're hoping that that's what this will accomplish, but we want him to know that we do appreciate all that he does for South Weaver City, and this new contract will be great. So anyone want to discuss any more on this contract, or you ready to make a motion? That'd be great.
Oh, I've got all. So, section. So it's section 3 salary. It says this agreement shall be automatically amended to reflect any salary adjustments that are provided or required by the city's compensation policies. This contract has a good size pay increase. Does this mean that as the years go on, this still allows for COLAs and for all of the pay increases that we do across the board?
Yes.
It allows for the COLA, yeah. Merit, no. The merit is part of the 5-year contract.
But does it stay, can a merit be given then? Because that's what I was kind of looking at specifically, was that the idea was that merit would be taken care of at the
Right.
end of the contract.
Right.
Jamie?
Joel, will you point me to the paragraph one more time?
Yeah, it's section 3 salary, and then it's section C.
Got it. So a big, it depends, but
Depends on
what I would give as an instruction to the council is when you make future compensation policies, just call out in that policy how it would and how it wouldn't apply to the city managers salary.
It just allows us.
That's
to
right. This is
take
written in a
adjustments.
way that if you make future changes that would give either COLA increases or other things, and you intend for those to affect the city manager's compensation, you would not have to revisit this contract and make an amendment to it.
Section D. Manager shall forfeit the incentive payment if before the expiration date he resigns or is terminated for cause. If city terminates manager without cause, then it shall pay manager a prorated portion of the incentive payment calculated from the effective date to which the manager is terminated. So this is talking about, let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is the incentive payment of staying the amount of time. I just didn't understand on that. Resigns, terminated for cause. Maybe I don't remember. Maybe I answered my own question by reading it out loud.
It has a
I think
whole
it
list
means-
of causes down there too.
Yeah, and I think that's where it, when I first looked at that, it did list what were causes of what. Resigns or was terminated for, okay.
just means if we fire him, we better give him a good cause. Right?
Well, technically,
Without cost,
yeah, technically it still says that we can't fire him just for.
right, just
Yeah,
without cause,
So,
for cause.
and
We're on the same page.
is this? I know the first part, so the first part we did was change it in code to go to the 5-year. That applies to any and all city managers. Is this contract kind of set up now for any new city managers that we have?
We can do it any
No.
term up to 5 years now.
Two.
We can make it 3 on the
Yeah,
next one if we
that's-
wanted to.
Yeah.
It's just up to 5 years.
So I'm wondering if this contract is the contract for all city managers.
No.
going
No,
forward.
it's on the
No.
first paragraph. It's for David.
Okay, I've just never done one of these, so I appreciate it. Then we have the. So. In F,
What number?
same, still under $300.
Okay.
The shall conduct a performance evaluation for manager annually in May and recommend a merit increase as deemed appropriate. Again, I thought the end of the line 50,000 was. the
That's
merit
right.
increase. So.
I think it just gives you the ability, like if there's a change in mayor or whatever, and they feel that there needs to be a changed and have an increase, the opportunity is there.
Right, and personally, I don't know if that's needed then, because I thought, again, that's what the big bonus at the end was for. And this is kind of making it so that, okay, well, that's what we originally kind of negotiated for, but we're gonna go on and keep on giving little more ones. And I just kind of expected this would be our handshake of, this is our 5 years. We're not gonna have to keep on, upping the ante every time. So I don't know if that needs to be inside of the question that I could think.
So you're questioning the part of the sentence that says and recommend a merit increase as deemed
Should
appropriate,
Yeah.
but you're okay with the performance evaluation.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's just that part.
Do you want me to respond? I'll answer as to what the contract terms say, but the policy decision, of course, resides with the council. But the way I read this is, it's written in a way that allows the council, when you have your annual budget discussions or your annual salary discussions as it relates to the city, that you can at your discretion give the city manager both a COLA increase and or a merit increase, but those choices would be yours at that later point in time. So if you never make an increase in the future, then the salary would be what's in the contract, and the only bonus or any other pay available to the city manager would be what's in the contract. But you would not have to revisit the contract and amend it and readopt it if you decide at those future dates to adjust the salary either by COLA or by merit.
I'm good with that, aren't you? You good with that?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just leaves the option open.
Yeah.
Gives you the
That's all.
option.
Um, Just because I don't know, we have a, list under here. Which one is it? So, none, manager may be removed with or without cause by a majority vote of the city's governing body, except that the city council shall not terminate manager without cause within 6 months of January 1st, following any municipal election. Is 6 months appropriate? That seems like I mean, that's a half of a year. It's not like,
You wanting more or less?
less.
I think that the intention of this
And again,
paragraph,
let me just, sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure that y'all know, this has nothing to do with Dave. The contract is not about Dave. The contract is about the city manager and how we would allow one to manage our city. So I'm just wondering if the 6 months is too long. Because if the city council wants to do it, I think 6 months, a half of a year is a pretty hard line to take away our power up. And not just our power, but the city council that comes after us.
This isn't for future city managers. This is just for this contract.
Right, for the next 5 years.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So I see what you're saying. I guess I would. It's in case another, we have 3 open seats and 2 open seats, and the council is always evolving. And it allows, if there's any problems with the city manager, it allows us 6 months to get those corrected. And it gives him a chance to have 6 months to correct them before a new governing body just says, see you later.
Well, and where this is just for, in my opinion, Dave.
I'm Joel Hensday.
I know, but this is just for Dave on this contract. But I think there's some security for him. He's committing for 5 years. We haven't asked anybody else to do that. We want that security. He's also wanting the security that when 3 of us are gone, because 3 of us are up, those new 3, because that's a win, aren't teamed up to just come in and get rid of him.
Right. Oh, and I understand that. I'm just saying.
And I think that's fair in the security for that contract. If he's willing to commit that, we're willing to commit that. And if this was a different city manager, I may not be willing to commit that. I mean, we've seen that different in the past, but where it's just with who are currently hired. And this can be changed with the new city manager, I'm okay with that.
So
I think
instead
the
of-
important part that we need to consider here is this is without cost. So if you get a new count, 3 of us go and 3 new ones come in and he's doing something fraudulent, it's not saying you
Yeah.
can't.
Still,
You just can't,
there's-
3 people
that's-
can't come in and shoot for majority because they don't like him and say, no, we don't like him. We've got majority, he's out for no other reason than we just don't like him. So the without cause is, I think, an important thing to keep in mind. If he's doing something that has a reason to be terminated, the council still has that power.
Joel, I don't know if this helps on your read of this section, but it would not prohibit an incoming city council from terminating the city manager. I think we all hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, and they terminate without cause, the provision provides severance for David if he were terminated in that circumstance. So the council still would retain its freedom to terminate and to hire a new city manager. They just would have to pay at least 6 months severance and up to 9 months severance, depending on what year it occurs.
I like that. So then it's not just a whim. It's. you know, to do
Correct.
it, we're paying-
So it provides it allows David, with the commitment to remain with the city for that long, to have some protection that if the composition of the city council were to change and the new council decided we just don't like you, that if they terminate, then it would come with separation pay. It doesn't prohibit them from making that terminating decision.
Last question on this was, I didn't see anything about a non-compete. Is the only part of the non-compete we're doing is if you stay for the 5 years, we'll give you a bonus.
I don't think with that type of position, you even can put a non-compete, can
Utah laws changed a lot in the last few years, and non-competes are really difficult to enforce. So in the negotiation with David and the mayor, I think the conversation was, how do we provide an incentive that you'll remain for 5 years, such that if you were to leave for another opportunity, you'd have to think about that financial consequence. And that's what the 5 years and the 50,000 was intended to do. There are a lot of different levers you could use to achieve that same thing, but that's what was negotiated, and in my view is a good way to achieve that. You can put non-competes in agreements, but Utah law, they're very, very difficult to enforce.
Yeah, that was it. Thanks for all my questions.
Okay. Look for a motion then.
Mayor, I make a motion. I don't know what it is. I make a motion that we approve resolution 2336, right? City manager employment contract.
I'll second that.
Begin with a roll call vote from Councilman Halverson.
Aye.
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 Hi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Unanimous. Thank you very much. Next item, resolution 23-37 Crosswinds Development Agreement Amendment. Any discussion on this?
Well, I
Any
thought when
questions?
I saw this on the agenda, there was gonna be a lot more to it than this, and then I got to the packet and was like, oh, well, that was easy. I don't have any questions.
So just some clarification, 1 to 2 years delayed. Explain that. It's because they're gonna be doing all that tear up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so now my brain forgot the construction company. Whitaker. I had it and then it just went away. Whitaker Construction is using that property as a staging ground for the canal company, or the Davis. The Weaver Basin. Sorry, they all merged in my brain. Weaver Basin project that's happening. Convenient access is really great for us as a city, actually, because it gets a lot of the trucks off of the road. A lot of the traffic congestion over there will be all staged on that site. And so that project is slated to take 1 year to 2 years to complete. And so that's the cause of the delay. The reason why that they're allowing them to use that land is because they are going to be supplying all of that fill they're taking out to grade the site and fill up the site with good compacted dirt and everything. So it provided them an incentive to do that.
Thank you.
So I'll ask again, is there anything the council should know about this? Because it is kind of a change from the norm. Is there anything that impacts us that we're doing?
No, it is a slight change from the norm. We typically require all of that up front, right? But with commercial projects, we actually do allow that escrow to be pushed, and in some instances, and in consultation with Brandon, he's comfortable with allowing it to be pushed to the building permit stage, so that they can get that recorded because of the length of time, right? If we don't record a plat within a year, then the plat is void. So we need to have that recorded so it can be in place for them to go and do their development.
Thank you.
Okay, any other?
Mayor, I move to approve resolution 2337 Crosswinds Development Agreement Amendment.
Second.
Motion in a second. We'll begin with roll call from Councilman Dale.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Next item, residential garbage cart purchase. Any discussion on buying more garbage cans?
I must be getting old because it seems like we just did this.
Goes fast, doesn't it?
And they're all gone already? All right, no more.
That's on the record, right?
Councilman Halverson, HAO.
Do we have a, for lack of a better term, a death rate of these carts? How often do we have to replace carts that are damaged?
Just people call in when they break.
I mean, is there a rough?
Depends on
number
how many miles they go down
Per
the street.
year?
Yeah, reply to them. So.
Is like 10 or 50 or?
Depends on how often you
I have one
diagnose down.
guy say that it's for 22 years now.
Yeah.
But some of them,
But the majority of them, they are going out to new homes for the
Yeah.
majority.
I mean, just my house, I got a new one a little while ago and the lid's already cracked and the old one that I have still nice and solid, so they're getting cheaper, the newer ones that are not old enough like the old ones.
there's been a couple of places, we bought from a few different places and that's what we traded. We had some that were falling apart within a year. For a place up north, but that's why I went to this toter. They've lasted pretty good.
Very good, thanks.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the residential garbage cart purchase for $42,533.77.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, next item, water line valve repairs. Any questions or discussions on this item?
Just one question. I mean, the analysis, the statement is it's cheaper to rebuild than it is to fully replace them. It'd just be nice to have a number, like, is it 5 times? Is it 2 times? Brandon's probably not here to explain, but how much cheaper is it?
I bet Mark can answer
Or
that
Mark,
question.
maybe?
Actually, Brian, put this one together, Brian and Mark Johnson. But coming in and putting a rebuild kit in them, it's a lot cheaper than.
When we discussed it in the committee, it was, I mean, a new valve was more than double. It was more like a $10,000 to $12,000 thing just to get.
And you don't have to pull them completely out of service. You can just pull the top off, rebuild them and keep them in service.
You know, put kickers or anything else on.
Yeah, it's more just a curiosity question. I realize it's the right way to go. I'm just wondering how much those kits are. Thanks.
Mayor, I move to approve water line valve repairs for $14,115.
Seconded.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
If everybody turns it down rather than up, then that's reduced.
Fine.
Okay, thanks.
Discussion items, and we need to discuss city-owned property future uses, which we had a comment in our beginning of our meeting on this property, so any discussion, what do we think we want to do with this property?
So this is different than the parcels I thought you were talking about when you first brought that up before. But isn't this in 3 locations, not just the one that's highlighted in our packet?
I think
Yeah,
there's-
it goes
I think
across the
there's more
street,
than
right?
one.
Well, and then it also goes into the park as
Yeah.
well. I mean, it's the right of way for the power lines is what it is.
Right.
It's a similar scenario for all 3 parcels, these 2 on the south and then the one on the north. However, this is the one that the neighbors have specifically said they're interested in. The other ones, neighbors haven't said they're interested in necessarily.
And Blair, were you talking about the one that comes out to the east as well in that area?
It'd be one that goes to the, oh, no, the one that goes out to the east is the access.
Right.
I think the city needs that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm talking, there's this straight line that goes north and south.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So would we also include that one that's just on the other side of the road on the south? Yep.
You easily can. Yeah, it's a similar conversation and similar purpose. So if the purpose changes, then it probably changes for both.
I think in our discussions, the city really doesn't have use for those, and if the neighboring property owners are interested, I'm open to allowing the conversation be had to divest ourselves of it and let them purchase it.
There was interest on that northern portion a few years back. It never went any further. They never came to us, but I was approached about that about 3 years ago for that northern part that's not on this map. Same desire. And same
My
concerns.
question is it, I don't have a problem because it's just a maintenance thing for the city. And we use, you know, on a lot of the developments, we're letting the power lines just go through whoever's backyard. But is it a purchase?
I feel like it should be
I think it should
because
be,
we had the same scenario.
Yeah.
When was
Yeah.
that? 2 years ago? And it was a purchase.
I think it should be a purchase. I mean,
Agreed.
they're getting. I mean, when you look at the yards, they're getting quite a bit. They're doubling the size of their backyards. It's gonna be an increased value to their property. So I don't think it can be given as requested. But it's public property and that's not fair to everybody else around. I'm interested in it being surplus, but I don't think it can be just gifted.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's appropriate to have the conversation to surplus it, but to sell.
I agree with that.
Joel?
Joel says no. Joel's face says no.
To me, it really just depends on whether we're gonna start taking care of it or not. There's what, two homes that, I think there's two that butt up to it that have fences. They've just gone on the road and the other two don't or similar to it. I mean, they could just go on and use it for free. Like, it's not gonna stop it, except that it's a complete mess.
Turn it down this way, like this.
Um, So so, to me, if we're gonna start taking care of it and we're going to, put the grass in there. Sure, then we probably ought to. Target a lot of money for it, or even some money, or have a discussion of it. To me, it almost seems a no-brainer to just here. If you guys don't want to have us take care of it anymore. Here it is. So I understand, and since the rest of the council would like to have a discussion on it, I'm more than willing to.
The only concern I have with that is that, I just forgot the word. Precedents that it creates, because there has been similar requests in other similar fashions that. It might create a bad precedent.
You're saying giving it rather than selling
There's a lot of little choppy, especially in Canyon Meadows for some reason. It seems like there's a lot of little choppiness. That we've had this kind of request before from others that we did require them to purchase. So precedence would be my number one concern.
Well, that makes sense, because, yeah, the one that's on the south side of that road, that looks like it would almost be a opportunity to discuss with either the homeowner or the lot owner increasing it, because that would make a difference when you're building that to increase lot size of it, so. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. So.
Do you want to have it appraised or try to set a value at this stage, or just simply begin those conversations with the neighbors to see if all of them want to purchase or if it's just one that's willing to purchase?
I think we should open it to all of them. I mean, he says, Mr. Mann was his name when he left.
I think we should.
Okay, so he was representing 4 neighbors, so they all they all have an interest, if we may, right? They're all neighbors to it, so they all should have the opportunity to have that discussion. And I thought we had that other parcel appraised at Canyon Meadows on the
We did.
west end. We did.
We have some
Square footage,
numbers that
some
we
square
can
footage
use and
numbers.
not start from zero.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. We're not starting from scratch on this.
Okay.
I could save the cost of appraisal to
Well,
just start with
I
that
think
number.
that's-
It's
I think that's the way to go, see if
Yeah.
there's even that appetite.
Yeah, exactly.
And it could be with all, that'd be 6 people. No, it'd be more than that'd be 8 different property owners.
So you want to do it for
Well, there's no
So you're
reason to
saying-
have it there
the
on
2
any.
parcels that are on the south side of the park. Right,
Yes.
north and south of the road. And then you're also looking at the northern one as well.
Yeah.
So north and south of Bowman Way and north of 6980 South,
Okay,
correct, everyone? We're looking at.
No,
The north is on the north side of the park.
it's on the
but-
north side.
But
of
there
the
was some
train
discussion
tracks.
of possibly still wanting that as a walkthrough from the.
so that one, we have a little wider piece. And then next to the pickleball court, that's part of that subdivision, we also have a sliver there. And so again, the idea was to have trail come all the way through from the neighborhood up there. There's not access to the park from that neighborhood, so there may be reason to maintain the sliver and eventually put in a trail.
Walkway.
Something, but that larger, wider piece, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, Mark, you might have a different perspective, but that wider piece, we probably don't need all of it, but maintain the portion that could become the trail on that north side, because those neighbors don't have the same access to the park as those southern neighbors do. The subdivision was required to put the trail in.
Oh,
Oh, so they.
did that
still-
get signed off on? Okay,
But you're saying we don't need as wide as we have? So
Right,
it
so
could
next to
still-
the pickleball court, I believe we have either 8 or 10 feet. And we could maintain that all the way down that west side of our property that is just south of the pickleball court. So we could look at surplusing the remainder of that piece and not keep the full width.
Over.
Well, I'd be interested in the north and south of Bowman Way, and kind of using that as a kind of example for moving forward with some of the other ones.
So the one on the south of Bowman Way, I just pulled up the
Yeah.
That's-
parcels. That actually is one parcel. Why they have a fence there, I don't know. You know, they've got a white fence on the about halfway in the middle of the lot, and the rest of the lot's just unlandscaped. That's all one
Is it?
law. On the county records, it's under, yeah, one name. Huh?
I want to just clear the corner.
It goes all the way to the corner. I had a vague recollection of that because they only get one water bill. But yeah,
so we're talking
so that one,
about this.
that one doesn't even matter
Yeah.
because it's in the middle of his own parcel already.
Yeah. I wonder if we can get it to pay.
And it doesn't show that, it doesn't show that as city owned. So. This is an interesting
So-
subdivision anyway.
It really
because of
is.
Yeah.
The length of time, and this is over.
I'm sorry, Blair, where are you talking?
The one on the south side of Bowman Way. On the corner of basically,
That's the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
on
He
South
said
River
it's-
Drive, oh.
and it comes out
Oh,
of South
I
River
see,
Drive.
okay, I got you,
It-
okay.
The right of way continues, but it doesn't, it's not dedicated to the city, so. At least according to the county record.
Yes, the city only owns the section between Bowman Way and 6980 South.
Yep.
So the other parcel that was requested back a while ago is just south of Green Springs Way. There, we have another little section just like that, that actually just dead ends to nowhere. Oh, that one.
So
Is that,
on the north side
Right.
of Canyon Meadows Park where the parking lot is, that is Peterson Parkway.
uh-huh,
The city owns property between those two homes
uh-huh,
and then owns the sliver next to the,
and are those being
Pickleball
maintained
courts.
right now? 'Cause
Well,
that was the question.
what Mark is saying is on the subdivision's punch list before they can get acceptance is to actually build that trail next to the
But
pickleball.
they already got their punch
Which,
list done.
what
Well, it's-
sliver are
it's
you
on the
talking
punch
about?
list. Yeah, it's on the punch list for
That?
them to
Okay.
complete.
Yeah, that's the one he's talking about.
So when I'm talking about the wider section, I'm talking about that parcel that is on Peterson Parkway,
Okay.
just north of Peterson
That's
Parkway.
one that you're saying we have,
We could skinny that down to match the trail
Gotcha.
and have it just be the trail section and not need that full width.
and that one just on Peterson Parkway.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, the little sliver on off of Green Springs, is that part of the
So-
55 plus, the Riverside development? That's their project to put in the path?
It is dedicated to the city for the city property, but they are required as part of the development to build the trail.
Just that sliver or both of those lots?
I believe it comes all the way down.
Okay, because it kind of looks like the one on Peterson Parkway was part of Canyon Meadows development, not Riverside development.
Yeah, it was part of it. It was part of when Doug Brady did the subdivision, he said he'd bring it all the way through.
Okay, great, thank you.
That one you may need to have more discussion about.
Okay. That one, maintain as city property at this point,
Mhm.
because
In
there
my
is a
opinion.
future use there and we need to discuss that.
Okay.
The two on the southern
Is it-
side of Canyon Meadows Park, you're willing to part with, need to see what the interest is of the homeowners to buy that property.
Yes, I
Okay.
believe so.
But can we?
We don't know
Yeah,
what you're
he's like-
saying.
Okay. What about this section right here, up to here, where it would terminate in the future parking lot? Are we discussing that as well?
I don't believe so.
No, see, I think we are. Quinn says yes, Haley says no.
The one just north of.
Right here.
690.
Just barely north, not on the north end of the park.
The
Because
one-
that extends the same right of way for the power lines.
Lisa, can you pull up the Davis County parcel map?
So what you have.
Sorry, I realized after you were talking that you were not saying the same thing that I was looking at on the
I'm
map.
only looking at the property in line with the power line easement.
That's also what I'm looking at, but it looks,
She's, you know, the piece you have highlighted in blue in the packet,
Yes,
the piece directly to the north across the street, that's what she's referring to.
yes.
and
And
that's what you're talking about.
I'm talking about that as well. If the council is willing to part with that,
Yes.
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 then yes, we'll have the
I think
conversation.
Not
all in
what you're
agreement
talking
that those two pieces are.
Yes,
I still, I don't know enough about that one. Is that wide enough to be able to put a road in? For the
There's a
parking lot
pole
we
there.
talked about?
No,
No,
there's a power line pole going down the middle of
Yeah,
it.
so the one that's coming out horizontally.
Yeah.
Like right there.
This is the parking lot.
Yeah, I know we got that up there. I just didn't know this had it in there.
And the mayor had a good point there. It may be that there's poles in those. That's why they were fenced that way. I have no idea. Mark was probably the only one around when
When we got things, when we did it, we reached out from the not that point. They just did it to, or under power even.
Mhm.
Back then, they preserved it, we can use it as a trail, but kind of work as a trail.
So we're talking about this section on right here that's right above the TH. It looks like a little flag, but we wouldn't need it to be the whole flag.
just
to-
between the homes there,
Mhm.
keep the top flag portion as part of the potential future parking lot there.
Correct.
It would fit a pickleball court. A little one. So for the junior, okay.
Those are the ones I would support.
Those
Surplus.
two pieces of property.
Yeah. And it just, I mean,
Oh,
so the reason I wouldn't, the others is, we need to figure out. From my standpoint, and I know this is but we have water issues when you do the other pieces. So I have them anyway. It's the city, because right now the city pays for things in there.
That if we're surplusing that property, there's water.
Rights
issues
that have to be
that
purchased
have
and
to-
paid for, yeah.
That has to be considered.
Mhm.
Okay,
So sorry, Mayor, one follow-up. The other part of the comment was the weeds and not taking care of it. Are we taking care of the stuff north of Canyon Meadows? Or are they expected to take care of it because they haven't put the trail in yet?
The larger piece of property is ours to maintain, but the section by the pickleball courts, that sliver is still in the subdivisions.
And are we
Yes.
doing anything to maintain it? Or is it, as Lucas mentioned, just weeds?
Both that northern parcel and the two southern ones are maintained in the same way, which is natural state of vegetation, right? It's every once in a while, maybe once a year, twice a year, go in and knock down weeds and whatnot. We have had dumping problems there. People have dumped on that property. We have signs up for no dumping and whatnot, but they are difficult to maintain and don't get a lot of attention.
So it's following our natural vegetation code.
You know, just above, so the north one that we were just talking about, that connects it with the proposed parking lot of someday. That one is actually taken better care of than the more southern one. And if I remember right, last week or so when I was there, the one that we were talking about up on the north end, I think they've got some temporary fencing now to close it off.
Hmm.
Who is they?
Whoever put up the fence.
I think that,
It's
I think the
between
temporary fence is part of our wetland reclamation stuff. That, or
It's
you're
like
talking,
across the street right next to the, looks like a tennis court.
That pickleball court. by
Pickleball
Green
court?
Springs Way.
No, so, the north end section of it, of the Canyon Meadows, right across the street from the, parking lot entrance.
that's a pickleball court for Riverside. And they may have put a fence up over there. I
That's
don't
what it
know.
looked like. They've now got a fence crossing it. So I don't know if they're taking care of all of that up at that top end. But if it's an easement or a trail,
It's part of, I know that that area is part of the punch list for Riverside Place. To finish, that area's not been finished around their pickleball court. And so they may be starting something to finish in there. I don't know.
Okay. We move along. I think you've got.
I
your
saw a lot of head
direction
nods
there.
for the two south parcels.
I think that's it.
But leave the north at this
Yeah.
point in city hands.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But if we can do something to clean them up and there's something we need to do, then we probably need to look at it as well.
Is there any new business anyone needs to discuss?
so question, we have a. Lawnmower?
We still have. No,
Okay, is that a typo?
came and went.
Yeah, that was an item that potentially was gonna be on and then did not need to be on.
Mayor, I just have one, and I failed to get this to an email to everybody, but I just wanted to, talking about Country Fair Days recognition for next month. Last year we had all the head chairs, I don't know what to call, co-chairs of each individual event also invited. Was that the plan again this year? Okay, I just want to make sure I like that we were able to do that, so we could get those. I did see the YCC invite. So I figured that was the case, but I just wanted to double check. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to our whoever, on your weekly update. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at the community services monthly report, but very well done. Thank you. I just enjoyed the stats and it was just, I like it. Thank you.
It was good.
Thank you.
Staff, any reports?
Yes, a couple of quick things. Today at 5 PM was the closing of our Public Works design build team. And we received 8 proposals. So
Very
the
good.
committee is meeting tomorrow to begin looking through those. The goal is to have a recommendation from that committee to the council September 12th to award that project. So that's big news. Other members of the committee, did you want to say anything about that?
No, I thought staff did a very good job and Brandon. Really, and his team, they did an excellent job.
Yeah, that's moving along well. Another item for the council's information is just a report on the city hall project, this renovation or remodel. If you recall, the budget was established at $160,000 and all invoices in to date are 138. And so there may be a couple outstanding minor things, but that project came in under budget and we're excited about that.
Well, thanks to everybody for chipping in, especially the mayor.
Especially the mayor.
And all of you guys who had to put your own chairs and stuff together. So thank you.
All of them.
All of them. I know there's a lot of stuff to put together.
Yeah,
The only other thing that I have, and then I know Trevor's got something that is exciting, and this is, I received word that Connects has done all of their initial install underground work. So the next phase of that is to get homes connected and get the service up and running. And so that will be their focus over the next 6 weeks or so, to be able to then provide service to the homes. So it is a big deal.
Can I ask a question? Sorry. I have heard a lot of complaints about things being damaged when Connex was coming through, and then there seemed to be some misunderstanding of who was responsible for that. Did that get kind of worked out? Did you guys receive those same complaints and things?
You seem to be referring to a specific one.
I saw
There
several.
are a number that have come through over time. By their very nature, they're disruptive, right? Because they're boring underground and going through the utility easements in people's properties. So there have been a number of times where damage has been done. They have been really good about taking care of that after the fact. And usually they're pretty quick about it. There have been a few times where there's been misunderstandings or issues that have had to be worked out. I know there was one just this last week that the mayor had forwarded to me, and then I was working with the resident on that. But
Okay,
at this point, I believe all of those have been taken care of. If anybody hears of one that hasn't been resolved, please let me know and we'll connect them with Connex, and we'll make sure that they get that repaired.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Thank
Connex has been very good about repairing any damage, and there has been damage by, again, their very nature.
Quickly, just on the PR communications front, one thing that Dave and I have been talking about for a while is having different alternatives for the logo in case we have to vary the size. We have one rectangular logo that's a little bit cumbersome on some applications. Like for instance, our Facebook icon, right? That makes it really small for people to see. And so I'm not in any way advocating a redesign of any logo. So just upfront about that. But we have been working on doing just some refreshes, allowing us to have a more simplified logo in cases where we needed to have a smaller icon. We want to make you aware of that as the city council. If you have any major objections or concerns, let me know and we can cease fire immediately. But we wanted to let you know. With that, we did a little refresh on the colors. They're the same blue and green, but we added a little bit more contrast between the two because they're very similar in tone. And so when we get embroidery or when we get, printing logos, those colors tend to fight against each other. So we added a little bit more contrast on those. So yeah, we just want to let you know that we did a little refresh, not a rebrand. But if you're fine with that, it's not a groundbreaking thing, but it is our logo, right? So do you have any comments or concerns about
I
that?
don't like the one, it's just SW.
That one?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, do two others agree with him? Just kidding.
Agreed.
these are the same, but for some reason on the other one, it looks like the tree's kind of Bigfoot and I for half a second.
I think that's a personal problem.
As we've been talking as city staff, we've been really focusing in on that tree as part of the logo, because there's a lot of symbolism there. If anybody asks, why did the trees lean in South Weber? It's because they're strong enough to handle it. And, the roots are deep, and there's a lot of meaning that can be derived from that. And I think that it articulates our shared and core values really well to kind of hone in on the tree itself. The geography of the full city logo, I think, is meaningful as well, but there's some value and some imagery there that can really be pulled out of the tree and emphasizing that in these alternates that I think is cool. Angie, I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I just need to make sure we don't go away with the other one entirely, because my father-in-law was very instrumental in creating that. And I would never hear the end of it.
No,
I
absolutely
can't
not.
approve never using that one again.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It is still our logo. We just needed, a lot of companies do alternate logos, especially when they have to downsize or use it in different things. And so it was just, we were finding it a little cumbersome when we're adding to things. And so,
Totally understand that.
yeah, but
Thank
not getting rid of it.
Official documents, letterhead, all of that, we'd keep the full logo.
Signs and all that. just be for the times we need a smaller one. So.
Okay, before we do, yeah, no, I'm losing words.
You wanna go to reports?
Our committee reports. I've got one item, came from our COG meeting this last week. Utah State Legislature designated the month of September following this American Founders and Constitution Month. At the end of this month, on August 31st, Governor Cox is going to issue a proclamation in the conference of this. They're trying to generate as much publicity towards this as they can, and so they've asked the city, the church is going to, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has issued a letter to be read, and the school board is doing some items on this as well. And so they're asking the city to in some way promote, encourage through whatever means we can, the participation in patriotic events, whatever we might be able to do for the month of September. So we might look at what we can do, even if it's putting
Put that
something
up.
on our LED sign or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's it. They do have this small pamphlet that they said that if we would like to order some of these, we can call the county and get them. We could, get them to the school or put them here in the office. People could pick up. American Founders and Constitution Month. It runs for the month of September. Okay, reports on committees. Joel, we'll start with you. Anything?
Nothing to report.
I don't have anything.
Gwen?
Ditto, nothing new.
Andrew?
No, sir.
Blair?
No, I was a slacker and missed the planning commission because I forgot it was on a Wednesday, not a Thursday. Mhm. But it's- I watched it. It went really well. So Trevor can fill in on any gaps.
Okay, with that, then we'll suspend city council and we'll convey into our South Weaver City Community Development Agreement Agency, RDA board meeting. Need a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item number 1, do we need to approve these minutes? Is that what number 1 is? Approve the minutes for April 11th, 2023.
I move to approve the April 11th, 2023 minutes, of the RDA meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, our next item then is resolution 23, RDA resolution 23-03, designation of a survey area and initiating the process of adopting project area plans. Any discussion on this item? Look for a motion on that.
Board chair, who are you?
Chairman.
Chairman? Sorry, I know who you are. Chairman, I move to approve RDA Resolution 23-03 designation of a survey area and initiating the process of adopting project area plans.
Okay, we have a motion to bring the second.
Second.
Let's start with a roll call vote by Councilman Halverson.
Aye.
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 Okay, that concludes our meeting for the RDA board.
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
you have
Chairman,
to vote, Chairman.
Oh, do I? Oh, yes. I keep forgetting I get a vote.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn the redevelopment agency board meeting and reconvene the South Weaver City Council meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Mayor, I move to adjourn to enter a closed session held pursuant to Utah Code 5242051C to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation.
Okay,
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.